Greetings, friends and fellow cigar box guitar enthusiasts. Del Puckett here, and this is a very important video, in my opinion. I'm going to be talking about scale length. A picture is worth 1,000 words. The scale length is the distance between the nut and the bridge. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because I've been commissioned to build a 16-inch scale ukulele. And so I was digging through my templates and I was like, oh my gosh, dude, these things are scattered all over the place. So I organized them in numerical order, starting at the smallest and going up to the largest. And then, but I got to looking at these and it's like, oh my gosh, dude. And then of course I have my notes here. And these notes here are courtesy of the CBGitty.com here. But these are the notes here, and I'm going to read this out here because this is, like I said, this is very important information. There's a couple of line items in here that I want to go through, kind of semi-in-depth, so to speak. Scale length is the distance from the fretboard right edge of the nut to the neck-facing edge of the bridge. Okay, so there's that right there is very important information. I'm going to read it one more time here. Scale length is the distance from the fretboard right edge of the nut, and I assume they're talking about this diagram here, to the neck facing edge of the bridge. Okay, so that's like the inside edges of both of those figures. The bridge is not shown on these templates. Okay, so the templates that they're talking about are these guys here. These are the templates, and that's the size and frets, whatever, of this particular template. But notice how they said the right edge of the nut. See how that nut has like a leading, it's big and fat, right? So you want to be on this edge right here. That's very important. That's one of the aspects of this. Okay, so here it says here, you don't have to use all of the shown frets on your instrument. Okay, so you can put as many frets on or leave as many frets out as you like. It's up to you. Just make sure that you start at the nut, exclamation point. Cut out the templates or fold this paper to make them easier. So what I did is I actually cut them out and tape them to these. And actually I taped them all the way through so they're like slick. They're like laminated. And that's the way, that way I can tape this to the actual fretboard and then use this. Ding, 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 ding. So double-sided sticky tape here on the back, and you can see some of the remnants there. It actually works really good. So you can fold them or you can cut them out or whatever. And like I said, I just did it like this so I could use them over and over again. The fret positions are commonly marked on the instrument fretboards to help the players find their positions. We're talking about the dots. See the dots on there? These fret positions are commonly marked. Okay, I read that. The right edge of the black nut bar on each template should line up with the inside fretboard facing edge of the nut on your instrument. Okay, so I think they said that twice, right? Whatever. Okay, so then it talks about different scale lengths for different instruments, and I'm going to be doing an ukulele. And it says here, ukulele scale lengths can range from 17 inches to 18 inches for a tenor, 19 to 20 inches for a baritone, but 17 and 19 are considered to be the standards. So we're going to do a 16-inch, which is going to be a mini ukulele by 1 inch. Okay, so that being said, I have some very interesting templates I want to show you. I have these. Let me start off with the just intonation. Okay, so you're gonna look at that and go, huh? Actually, this is the real just intonation. It would be this way. Sorry. And these have all the harmonic. It's upside down for you. It's right side up for me. So actually, this should be looking at it like this. Sorry. That way you can read it. So this is the nut side. And you can see how you have like two little lines right here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, that's going to match with this fretboard here. 1, 2, 1, 2. There it is. So this might not. Yeah, okay. So this kind of sort of lines up. Yeah, so it's Real important that you start your thing right at that nut slot. So this is the just intonation. And so what I did is I did a little experimenting when I cross-pollinated just intonation with the equal 12 with the 12-tone equal temperament template, which is this guy, 12-tone equal temperament. And what I came up with was what they call a hybrid. So this hybrid here is a cross-pollination between these two guys. What I did is I actually split the difference of where the frets were, and then that's where I put the fret. Every fret that was there was a difference, I just split the difference and put it there. So I just kind of leaned my equal tempered toward just intonation, and that yielded this just tempered. Now each one of these has their strengths. Obviously, the equal tempered is the most common scale division there is, equal tempered. This was, I would encourage you guys to study where this equal temperament came from, the origins of this, because they had to make some compromises in order to come up with this. But this is the universal scale template, or should I say scale division. 12 notes, equal tempered, equal. That means there's 12 tones that are equally spaced, the same distance. That's what that equal temper mean, okay? So, sorry to go into such detail. The just intonation is when you follow the harmonics on the string. And these are the harmonics line up. And that's when you put your frets there. And when you do that, you guys have heard the videos and seen those guitars where I do just intonation. All of the notes are in the exact sweet spot according to physics and science and math and all that stuff. They're not at the approximate spaces with the equal tempered. They're in the exact spaces with the just intonation. And yeah, those chords sound amazing. There are limitations when you use just intonation, and the limitation is you can really only dedicate those strings 1-5-1. In other words, the harmonics are based on the root. Okay, so as soon as you start tuning that to be a third or tuning that string to be a fifth, all bets are off. So you have to go with the specific tuning of 1-5-1 or whatever it is, 1-4, 1-5-4-1. That's here on the end. Now, as long as you tune to that, then everything's going to work good. And you're limited to the key that you tune it in. Okay, you can't put a capo on and then just go from there, because that's why they invented the equal tempered, so that you could put a capo on and play in any key at any given time. You know, playing symmetrical scales and you know, jazz chords. That's what equal temper is for. But anyhow, so yeah, just intonation is for the singer-songwriter, solo artist who wants to be in perfect pitch. Well, so the hybrid is, like I said, a cross-pollination where it splits the difference. And I'm telling you, man, this one here, dude, once you get into the zone on this fretboard, you're just like, man, you're in heaven, man. Seriously. Okay, so that's enough about the equal tempered, just intonation, and just tempered. Those three. So what I'm looking for now is the 16-inch equal tempered ukulele. Now I put all these in numerical order to make them easy to find, because man, when they get scattered all over the place, yeah, you're just digging through a mess. Okay, so I found it right here, 16-inch. 16 inches. Okay, so what I'll probably end up doing here is I'm going to make another of these hard copies for this little guy here. That way I can tape it to the fretboard, cut the slices, and then have it for future builds. This is the top-down view. And this is actually a very critical stage of the game. And this is called, you can call this whatever you want, just the setup or the dry fit or whatever. You have to make some decisions here. And one of the decisions is from the nut to the saddle. And I marked out 16 inches because this is a 16-inch scale. So I marked out exactly 16 inches. And that's where the saddle's going to be. And I have that little code symbol here, which is a circle and a line And that tells me that's where the saddle is. And what I do is I determine by sliding this around where I want that saddle to be on the instrument. Keep in mind, you have to have some sort of a string attached. Usually I use like a hinge or something over here in the back, but whatever it is that you decide, you need to make sure that that's going to go into the wood in there. So that might determine also where your saddle, where your bridge here is going to be. So you want to make sure to incorporate whatever it is that you're going to do here. Okay, well, I've opted for this little guy. And what that's going to afford me is to be able to move this saddle this way as much as possible. It's going to be actually on the back edge here. So it's going to barely come up. So I'm going to have plenty of room in between the string catch and the saddle. The reason why I picked right here is because this gives me exactly 12, 13, 14, 15 frets. And right now I'm thinking I have to balance what's important here. Having enough frets on the fretboard or positioning this saddle so it doesn't destroy the logo of the box. You know, so you got to weigh these things out. This one here, I think it feels good as far as the balance. It's not too far this way. It's not too far that way. The saddle's in right, proportionally right in the middle. I mean, your hand's going to be right in this area while you're playing it. So I think this is going to be the best setup here for this 16-inch scale instrument, this size of box, and with this hardware here. So all of these things I'm keeping in mind to position all this stuff. Now is the time to make these kinds of decisions, not later think, oh, dang it, I should have measured this, or I didn't think about that. And again, this is the way I build is from my left here to my right here, and I always do the same thing every time. If I was to turn this thing around, it would be the same thing like me playing it, but for some reason when I'm building it, I like to look at it with the nut and the tuners on my right hand and the saddle and the bridge and the box here on my left hand. That's just me. Guys, my dog is bored to death. He's like, boring. He's a nut job. Check this out.